Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrusham Tattvamasya Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam, and welcome to the Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Devalaya here in the sacred Kshetra temple of Adi Kailasa. We are happy to bring you with the grace and blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, whom we call Swamiji. With his grace and blessings, we are happy to give you a Rudrabhishekam program that is spiritual, virtual, educational, and devotional. Every day at the Kalasandhi time, Upasandhi time, we will have an Rudrabhishekam offered to the Swayambhu Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva. Driven by the divine vision given to him by Paramashiva, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Swamiji, came on remembering a banyan tree in his vision. He came to Biridi and was beautifully given the land by a devotee who had the vision of his Kuladevata, Dakshinamurti, showing him that a young sadhu will come. Please give him this land, especially the banyan tree land. And it was under this very banyan tree that Swamiji himself had came and built the temple of Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva. Paramashiva says in the Agamas that he can manifest in many forms and can be worshipped in many forms, including the stones and the trees. This very tree is the very body of Paramashiva and Parashakti, from which it had grown. Under this very tree, Adi Guru Dakshinamurti sat and taught the Agamas in silence to Devi Parashakti. It is under this very tree that Sri Ramachandra came and worshipped the Swayambhu Nithyanandeshwar Linga that is now installed in the Balalaya of the temple. The tree, Swamiji has revealed that it is the portal through which people can connect to the multiple dimensions of the cosmos. Anybody from any walk of life, no matter what status they have, no matter how ill they are, whether physically or even mentally, when they come under this tree, when they experience the breathing space of this banyan tree, they have an experience of serenity beyond the nature of anywhere else. It is under this tree that Swamiji discovered and brought out the Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Linga that is installed in a Garbhalaya, in a small Balalaya, by Swamiji himself. The very breathing space of the banyan tree expands to almost 25 kilometers, which is the parameter, outer parameter of the temple that Swamiji is going to build here. The vision of a 7-prakara, a 7-gated temple, where this Garbha Mandir or this banyan tree is at its heart, at its sanctum, at the center. Anybody who comes under this tree experiences immense healing, both mentally and physically as well. It is under this tree that in many inner awakening programs that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Swamiji, instilled into people a glimpse of enlightenment itself. In his silence, Dakshinamurti is said to sit under the tree. Chittam vadataror mule chit vruddha sishya gururyuva gurorstumonam vyakhyanam shishyastu chinna samshaya. It is under this very tree that Paramashiva, as Dakshinamurti, sits in a young form of just 16 years in deep silence, a vibrant silence, a silence of enlightenment. It is under this tree that in that silence Dakshinamurti is able to dispel and remove the doubts of all these people around him who are elderly rishis. This tree is guarded by Kalabhairava Karupaswamy and Munishwara himself and has been protected for eons. This is not just a tree that is of this physical plane, but of the multiple dimensions of the cosmos. Beings from all the lokas, all the places, come to Ida Kailas through this portal of the tree and reside here, basking in the presence of the living avatar, Swamiji himself. Just as Parashakti sat on the lap of Nithyananda Ishvara under this very tree and received the agamas, many have also sat in the direct presence of Swamiji in his silence and experienced enlightenment. This tree can give healing anywhere. There are mukti kshetras around this Bharata, in this country, that give liberation. Those who are born in the city of Kanchipuram are liberated. Those who are have a darshan of the temple of Chidambaram have liberation. Those who remember Arunachala, the mountain of Arunachala in Tiruvannamalai, the very birthplace of Swamiji, it says Smaranat Mukti Arunachala. Those who remember it have liberation. And this very Adi Kailasa, when somebody just remembers somebody else who has been here, who has seen this place, by remembering that person, they have liberation. Hence, this place has the beautiful name Adi Kailasa, the primordial Kailasa, the source from which the divine vision, the avataric mission of Swamiji, of building the only Hindu nation, Kailasa, has begun. All things started here and originate here as well. It is under this very banyan tree that Sri Ramachandra also taught Muktikopanishad to Hanuman. Hanuman, a devotee of Rama, inquired into Rama, what is the essence of all the Vedas and the Agamas? Falling into the space of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Ramachandra and Hanuman came under this tree and Rama taught him the Muktiko Upanishad that has the essence of all the 108 Upanishads in it. This tree is witness to many of the previous incarnations of our beloved Swamiji. There was once a consciousness that embodied two bodies, a female and a male body. That very Shiva and Shakti had their Samadhi under this very tree. The Linga of Swayambhu Nithyanandeshwara is the very body of Swamiji's previous birth. And the Shiva Linga, in this Kamikagama, the Shiva Linga can be worshipped in many ways and it can be made with many different materials. Specifically, Shiva Linga, which is brought out by Prakriti, which is unnaturally given to the world, like the Sharira of a living enlightened person, an incarnation. For example, Venkateshwara Swami in the temple of Tirupati, that very deity is not made of any stone, but it is the real being of Venkateshwara that remained still and became an Archavatara for the devotion of the devotees. Same way, a Swayambhu is the very body of the Sharira of Paramashiva. Here, the Swayambhu Nithyanandeshwara offering the puja And seeing his darshan is the same as having the darshan of a living incarnation. Swayambhu Nithyanandeshwara was kept in a Bhalalaya here in Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Devalaya. So the Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Devalaya has inside it the most magnificent form of Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva, and upon his lap seated Nithyanandeshwari Parashakti herself. In an intimate setting, under this very banyan tree, on his very lap, Devi Nithyanandeshwari sits and recites and asks the questions about what is this wonderful universe, who is Paramashiva, and how does one realize him. These fundamental questions are asked by Devi to Paramashiva. In the same time, in these times of COVID devastation around the world, people also are facing these fundamental questions. What is this wonderful world? Why is it that COVID or this mass extinction is happening? Why and how do we heal from it? What is death? And people who are now very close to death are understanding these fundamental questions must be asked, just like how Devi asked these questions. And Swamiji is creating this Adi Kailasa Kshetra as a boat for all those who wish to be saved from Corona, save themselves, and save others, as a beautiful ark, just like how Manu created an ark in the time of Matsyavatara, when the waters of Pralaya, of the deluge, filled the world. He created an ark to save the essence of the civilization. In the same way, our beloved Swamiji, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, is opening the gates of Adi Kailasa to anyone who wants to be in this holy space and save themselves from Corona. Here in Adi Kailasa, the temple has Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva, Nithyanandeshwari Parashakti, as a huge 7 feet tall deity made of Panchaloha metal. When Swamiji was making this very deity, he remembered his very Guru, Arunagiri Yogeshwara Paramashiva himself, embodying and remembering his body language and his gestures and body features. Swamiji molded with his own hands the deity of Nithyanandeshwara. And on his lap, Nithyanandeshwari Parashakti, after a divine vision that he had of Devi in Himalayas. Both of these deities are always together and are inseparable, just like how Guru and disciple should be. This place is the ultimate training ground for any spiritual seeker who want to realize and answer those fundamental questions that they have and live comfortably also. And a spiritual life, a life full of depth and meaning from the core itself. Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva, Nithyanandeshwari Parashakti, in their grace, bless everyone here with anything they ask in the temple. Whether it may be a small thing as a small pleasure, as a coffee or a tea that you would like, or the biggest things like enlightenment itself. They grant everything in between as well. They are ever compassionate and wish fulfilling. Nithyanandeshwara is Asutosha, the one who is easily pleased. Just by one small attention unto him, he showers onto you Ganga itself, full of the waters of richness and purification. Nithyanandeshwari sits on his lap and is celebrating continuously the ambience of Paramashiva and is in oneness with Paramashiva. Those who are here in Adi Kailasa experience life as Nithyanandeshwari is sitting on his lap, as if they are literally on the very lap of Paramashiva. There is that energy here that you are always cared for. Your deepest needs from the spiritual core itself are always there attended to. And when you hold that context, that my enlightenment comes first, the space of Paramashivoham comes first, then you will always feel at home here. Here in Adi Kailasa, the frequency at which life will happen to you is much more faster than those who as compared to the outside world. When it would take months or weeks to get over a particular bad incident or a pattern that is there in our lives, here in Adi Kailasa, it'll take a matter of hours alone. By morning, we'll be facing something, but by evening, we'll be completely liberated from it. There is no place in the world that elevates someone's karmas and someone's thought currents as Adi Kailasa. There is no place in the world that heals someone from their depths as Adi Kailasa does. The very air radiates Paramashiva. The very space is Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva's. His breathing space here goes out lengths and longitudes. But by just remembering the darshan of the banyan tree, someone can be healed. Someone can be experiencing that same oneness. Under the banyan tree, we have Dakshinamurti Swami, under which the prana pratishta has been done, solidifying Mercury, an intense process of energy and consecration of cosmic energy into one particular place. The avatar's body is said to be a capsule of concentrated cosmic energy. The Meenakshi temple, the Meenakshi Amman temple, has under it Meenakshi's body itself. Tiruvannamalai temple has Arunagiri Yogeshwara himself. Here, under the banyan tree, the Samadhi of Swamiji's previous incarnations. Here, protecting the banyan tree, Munishwara's Samadhi also is there. This place is a kshetra that is celebrated by all the beings, animals, trees, wildlife, whatever it may be, are constantly celebrating and rejoicing the presence of Swamiji and radiating it to everyone. Swamiji always says that Vididi is his very being. Adi Kailasa is his very being. It is here where it all started, and it is from here Swamiji literally operates. Adi Kailasa is such kshetra that the temple is going to be created and is ongoing as the largest golden temple envisioned by Swamiji for Paramashiva. Swamiji once said that just because Paramashiva spent 9 months with me when I was a small boy, I am ready to dedicate everything for him. I am ready to build this huge temple for him. Today, we are going to get ready to do an Abhishekam to Nithyanandeshwara Paramashivalinga. When we see an incident happening before us, whatever action may be happening, those particular actions, when are seen by the eyes, create the same sensations inside our brain. The neurons mirror the activities that we see in front of us. Whenever we see someone swimming, the neurons in our brain, the cells in our brain, mirror the same impulses as somebody's body would be experiencing inside water. In the same way, when we see the Abhishekam of the deity, the same impulses when water is being poured onto a Shivalinga, which is a manifestation of your own higher self, when that happens, the brain experiences the same cleansing and purification. It is not that Paramashiva is someone we need to gain access to. Paramashiva is already there within us. But it is just that we have clouded ourselves with so much of suffering and without realizing this truth regularly in life. The Abhishekam is a process of cleansing that removes that which needs to be removed, that is not permanent inside us, that is not Paramashiva that is there inside us. All the patterns, all the sufferings, all the stress that we are going on experiencing in this time of COVID can literally be cleansed in the serene darshan of Nithyanandeshwara. To feast your eyes on the darshan of Nithyanandeshwara is like seeing one of the most magnificent things that you can ever see. That is why whenever we see the open sky, or we see the large mountains, or we see the vast ocean, our eyes widen and we inhale more oxygen and we awaken to something that is higher than our small existence. There is something bigger. There is certainly consciousness that exists in the cosmos. There is something intelligent that is there. And when we understand this, that is what the darshan is. And when we see the darshan of the deity, those same neurons are mirrored inside our brains, and we experience that same darshan. Before we begin the ritual today, let us get ready to set a context to the ritual by making a few declarations that help us instill inside us the proper understanding about the ritual and what we are doing. First, we recognize that cosmic energy exists. Whether you like it or not, or believe it or not, there is something that is running our life. That is something that is intelligence, that is blessing us, that is taking care of us, that is holding us in its womb. We call it Parashakti, some call it Paramashiva. But there is a cosmic energy that is there, and that is intelligent, and you recognize that it exists. Continuously remembering that there is such a space, there is such a being, is a raising of our consciousness. And that is what our first declaration is. When we with integrity and authenticity, cognize from our depth that it must be true. Even if you have not experienced it to be a reality, you can still pray for that experience. Personally, for many of us, the living Shivalinga or any of the deities may seem just like an artwork for us, or just an image. But it is only in our sincere faith and prayer, in our sincere attempt to say, please help me to realize you are there. Please help me to see you are real. In our prayers like that, we'll be able to cognize, and the deities will be revealing themselves to us. So the first declaration let us make together. When you agree to this statement, please say yes loudly at the end of the statement. I authentically cognize, which is internally process, understand, and declare the truth. Cosmic energy exists. Yes. The next declaration is the one where we declare that the deity is the medium through which we connect with cosmic energy. When we worship, we don't worship a stone or metal. We worship cosmic energy. We never say, oh Krishna, please bless us. We never say, oh stone, please bless us. We say, oh Krishna, please bless us. So let us make the second declaration with this context of the Chinmaya Vigraha, the deity as an embodiment and representation of that cosmic energy. Please say yes after the statement. I authentically cognize, which is internally process, understand, and declare the truth that Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva, Nithyanandeshwari Parashakti are the Chinmaya Vigrahas, the embodiment and representation of that very cosmic energy. Yes. The third declaration is about the ritual. It is through the ritual that we connect through the deities, and we offer our intentions and prayers inside the ritual. There is an interesting story about a priest who went to the gates of heaven and was sent to hell. And then there was another man who came after him who was sent to heaven, and he happened to be a driver. The priest was confused. How come I get to go to hell, whereas the driver goes to heaven? The gate holder of heaven says, it is because when people were listening to your sermon, people were sleeping off. But when people were driving in this man's car, they were praying for their lives. It is the intention with which you exist, the intention with which you hold yourself, that makes the prayer manifest. Knowing what intention you really seek is a process in our programs, known as the science of Kalpataru, knowing our true intentions and expressing them authentically. In that same way, with the best intentions that we have for health, wealth, and all the auspicious blessings, we make the third declaration. Please say yes after the statement. I authentically cognize, which is internally process, understand, and declare the truth that whatever I offer in the Rudrabhishekam will reach the cosmic source of energy directly. Yes. The fourth and final declaration is the highest truth of Advaita, of Sohamasmi, that declares that we are not inferior to the deities or cosmic energy. We are that very cosmic energy. That is the truth. And we declare Sohamasmi, that even when we worship, we are Him. Let us make the fourth declaration. Please say yes after this statement. I authentically cognize, which is internally process, understand, and declare the truth of Sohamasmi, that even when I worship, I am Him. Yes. Let us get ready to have the darshan of Nithyanandeshwara and receive his blessings and grace. Please sit straight and chant the Mahavakya, the measure of the mantra that has the syllables that are kept in a measure that instill in us this very space of oneness with Paramashiva. Inhale and exhale as slowly as possible. Chant the Mahavakya. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. नित्यानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। नित्यानन्देश्वर परमशिव समारम्भाम् नित्यानन्देश्वरी पराशक्ति मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ललाटे त्रिपुण्ड्रीनितिलकृत कस्तूरी तिलकः स्फुरन्मालाधारस्फुरितकटिगोपीनवसनः ददानो दुष्टारम् चिरसि फनिराजम् शशिकलाम् प्रदीपः सर्वेषाम् अरुणगिरियोगी विजयते। अस्य श्रीरुद्राध्याय प्रश्नमहामन्त्रस्य अघोर ऋषिः अनुष्टुप्छन्दः शङ्कर्षणमूर्तिस्वरूपो योऽसावादित्यः परमपुरुषस्य एष रुद्रो देवता। नमः शिवायेति बीजम् शिवतरायेति शक्तिः महादेवायेति कीलकम् श्रीसाम्ब सदाशिवप्रसादसिद्ध्यर्थे जपे विनियोगः। अग्निहोत्रात्मने अङ्गुष्ठाभ्यां नमः दर्शपूर्णमाशात्मने तर्जनीभ्यां नमः चातुर्मास्यात्मने मध्यमाभ्यां नमः निरोढपशुबन्धात्मने अनामिकाभ्यां नमः ज्योतिष्ठोमात्मने कनिष्ठिकाभ्यां नमः सर्वकृत्वात्मने करतलकरपृष्ठाभ्यां नमः अग्निहोत्रात्मने हृदयाय नमः दर्शपूर्णमाशात्मने शिरसे स्वाहा चातुर्मास्यात्मने शिखाये वषट् निरोढपशुबन्धात्मने कवचायुहम् ज्योतिष्ठोमात्मने नेत्रत्रयाय भौषट् सर्वकृत्वात्मने अस्त्राय भट् भूर्भुवस्सुवरोमिति दिग्बन्धः। ध्यानम् आपातालनभस्थलान्दुभुवन ब्रह्माण्डमाविस्फुरत् ज्योतिस्फाटिकलिङ्गमौलिविलसत्पूर्णेन्दुवातामृतैः अस्तोकाप्लुतमेकमीशमनिशं रुद्रानुवाकाञ्चपन् ध्याये दीप्सिसि सिद्धये ध्रुवपदं विप्रोऽपि शिञ्चेच्छिवम् ब्रह्माण्डव्याप्तदेहाभसितमरुषा भासमाना भुजङ्गैः कण्ठे काला कवर्दा कलितशशिकलाश्चन्दकोदण्डहस्ताः रक्षा रुद्राक्षमाला प्रकटितविभवा शाम्भवा मूर्तिभेदाः रुद्रा श्रीरुद्रसूक्तप्रकटितविभवा न प्रयच्छन्तु सौख्यम्। ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। ॐ शं च मे मयच्च मे प्रियञ्च मे नुकामश्च मे कामश्च मे सौमनसश्च मे भद्रञ्च मे श्रेयश्च मे वस्यश्च मे यशश्च मे भगश्च मे द्रविणञ्च मे यन्ता च मे धर्ता च मे क्षेमश्च मे तिथिश्च मे विश्वञ्च मे महच्च मे संविच्च मे ज्ञात्रञ्च मे सूश्च मे प्रसूश्च मे सीरञ्च मे लयश्च मे रदञ्च मे मृतञ्च मे यक्ष्मञ्च मे नामयच्च मे जीवादुश्च मे दीर्घायुत्वञ्च मे न मित्रञ्च मे भयञ्च मे शुगञ्च मे सेनञ्च मे सूसा च मे सुदिनञ्च मे। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय रुद्रमन्यवहुतो दैशवे नमः। नमस्ते अस्तु तन्वने बाहुभ्यामुदते नमः। या तैषु शिवतमा शिवं बभूव ते धनुः शिवा शरव्या या तपदया नो रुद्रमणया या ते रुद्रशिवा तनूरघोरा पापकाशिनी तया नस्तनुभाषन्तमया गिरिशन्तापि चाकशीः यामिषुं गिरिशन्तहस्ते बिभर्षस्तवे शिवां गिरित्रतां कुरु माहि पुंसीः पुरुषं जगत् शिवेन वचसा त्वा गिरिशाच्छावदामसि यथा नः सर्वमिज्जगत यक्ष्मकुं सुमना असत् अद्य वोचदति वक्ता प्रथमो देव्योऽभिषेक अयेकश्च सर्वाञ्जम्भयन् सर्वाश्च यातु धान्यः असो यस्ताम्रो अरुण उत बभ्रुस्वमङ्गलः ये चेमागुं रुद्रा अभितो दिक्षु श्रुता सहस्रशो वैशागुं मेढयीमहे असोव्यो वसर्पति नीलग्रीवो विलोहितः उदैनं गोपा अदृशन्नदृशन्नुदहार्यः उदैनं विश्वाभूतानि सदृष्टो मृडयादिनः नमो अस्तु नीलग्रीवाय सहस्राक्षाय मीढुषे अथो ये अस्य सत्त्वा नोऽहं तेभ्यो करन्नमः
प्रमुञ्चदन्वनस्त्वमुपयोरार्नियोर्जाम् याश्च देहस्तैषवः पराता भगवो पप अवदत्यधनुस्त्वगुं सहस्राक्षते सुधे निशीर्य शल्यानामुखा शिवो नः सुमना भव विद्यम् धनुःकपर्दिनो विशल्यो भानवागुम्मुता अनेसन्नस्येष वापुरस्य निषङ्गतिः या ते हेतिर्मीढुष्टमस्ते बभूव ते धनुः तयास्मान् विश्वतस्वमयक्ष्मया परिभुज नमस्ते अस्त्वायुधायानातताय धृष्णवे उभाभ्यामुदते नमो बाहुभ्याम् तव धन्वने परिते धन्वनो हेतिरस्मान् वृणक्तु विश्वतः अथो यैषुतिस्तवारे अस्मन्निदेहितम् शम्भवे नमः। नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकालाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय नित्यानन्दाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। नमो हिरण्यबाहवे सेनान्ये दिशाञ्च पतये नमो नमो वृक्षेभ्यो हरिकेशेभ्यः पशूनाम् पतये नमो नमः सस्पिञ्जराय त्विषीमते पथीनाम् पतये नमो नमो बभ्लुषाय विव्याधिनेन्नानाम् पतये नमो नमो हरिकेशायोपवीतिने पुष्टानाम् पतये नमो नमो भवस्य हेत्यै जगताम् पतये नमो नमो रुद्राय तथा विने क्षेत्राणाम् पतये नमो नमः सूताय हन्त्याय वनानाम् पतये नमो नमो रोहिताय स्थपतये वृक्षाणाम् पतये नमो नमो भवन्तये वारि मन्त्रिणे वाणिजाय कक्षाणाम् पतये नमो नमो भुवन्तये वारिवस्कृताय औषधीनाम् पतये नमो नमः उच्चैर्घोषाय क्रन्दयते पत्तीनाम् पतये नमो नमः कृत्स्नवीताय धावते सत्त्वनाम् पतये नमः नमः सहमानाय निव्याधिन आव्याधिनीनाम् पतये नमो नमः ककुभाय निषङ्गिने स्तेनानाम् पतये नमो नमो निषङ्गिने श्रुतिमते तस्कराणाम् पतये नमो नमो वञ्चते परिवञ्चते तायूनाम् पतये नमो नमो निचेरवे परिचरायारण्यानाम् पतये नमो नमः श्रीगाभिभ्यो जिगागुम् सद्यो मुष्णताम् पतये नमो नमः सिमद्यो नक्तञ्चरभ्यः प्रगुण्डानाम् पतये नमो नमः उष्णीषिणे गिरिचराय कुलुञ्चानाम् पतये नमो नमः मध्यो धन्वाविभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः आतन्वानेभ्यः प्रतिदधानेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः आयुच्छद्भ्यो विसृजद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमोऽस्यद्भ्यो विद्यद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमः आसीनेभ्यः शयानेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः स्वभ्यो जाग्रद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमः सभाभ्यः सभापतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो अश्वेभ्यो अश्वपतिभ्यश्च वो नमः नमः आव्याधिनीभ्यो विविध्यन्तीभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः उगनाभ्यस्त्रिगुंहतीभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो गृत्सेभ्यो गृत्सपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो व्रातेभ्यो व्रातपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो गणेभ्यो गणपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो विरूपेभ्यो विश्वरूपेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो महद्भ्यः क्षुल्लकेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो रथिभ्यो रथेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो रथेभ्यो रथपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः सेनाभ्यः सेनानिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः क्षत्रुभ्यः संग्रहीतृभ्यश्च वो नमो नमस्तक्षभ्यो रथकारेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः कुलालेभ्यः कर्मारेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः पुञ्जिष्टेभ्यो निषादेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः इषुकृद्भ्यो दन्वकृद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमो मृगयुभ्यश्वनिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः श्वभ्यश्वपतिभ्यश्च वो नमः नमो भवाय च रुद्राय च नमः शर्वाय च पशुपतये च नमो नीलग्रीवाय च सितिकण्ठाय च नमः कपर्दिने च व्युक्तकेशाय च नमः सहस्राक्षाय च शतधन्वने च नमो गिरिशाय च शिबिविष्टाय च नमो मीडुष्टमाय चेषुमते च नमो ह्रस्वाय च वामनाय च नमो बृहते च वर्षीयसे च नमो वृद्धाय च संवृध्वने च नमो अग्र्याय च प्रथमाय च नमः आशवे चाजिराय च नमः शीघ्रियाय च सीभ्याय च नमः ऊर्म्याय च वस्वन्याय च नमः स्रोतस्याय च द्वीप्याय च नमो ज्येष्ठाय च कनिष्ठाय च नमः पूर्वजाय चापरजाय च नमो मध्यमाय चापगल्भाय च नमो जगन्याय च बुद्ध्याय च नमः सोऽभ्याय च प्रतिसर्याय च नमो याम्याय च क्षेम्याय च नमः उर्वर्याय च कल्याय च नमः श्लोक्याय चावसान्याय च नमो वन्याय च कक्षाय च नमः श्रवाय च प्रतिश्रवाय च नमः आशुषेनाय चासुरथाय च नमः सूराय चापभिन्दते च नमो वर्मिने च वरूदिने च नमो बिल्मिने च कवचिने च नमः श्रुताय च श्रुतसेनाय च नमो दुन्दुभ्याय च हनन्याय च नमो दृष्णवे जभ्रमृषाय च नमो धूताय च प्रहिता तीक्ष्णे च वेचायुधिने च नमः स्वायुधाय च सुधन्वने च नमः श्रुत्याय च पत्याय च नमः काट्याय च नीप्याय च नमः सूत्याय च सरस्याय च नमो नाड्याय च वैशन्ताय च नमः कोप्याय च वट्याय च नमो वर्षाय च नमो मेध्याय च विद्युत्याय च नम ईध्रियाय च तप्याय च नमो वात्याय च रेश्म्याय च नमो वास्तव्याय च वास्तुपाय च ॐ नमः सोमाय च रुद्राय च नमस्ताम्राय च अरुणाय च नमः शङ्गाय च पशुपतये च नम उग्राय च भीमाय च नमो अग्रे वधाय च दूरे वधाय च नमो हन्त्रे च हनीयसे च नमो वृक्षेभ्यो हरिकेशेभ्यो नमस्ताराय नमः शम्भवे च मयोभवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च नमस्तीर्थ्याय च कुल्याय च नमः पार्याय च भार्याय च नमः प्रतरणाय चोत्तरणाय च नमः आतार्याय च लाड्याय च नमः षष्प्याय च फेन्याय च सिकत्याय च प्रवाह्याय च नम हिरण्याय च प्रपथ्याय च नमः किगुंशिलाय च क्षयनाय च नमः कवर्दिने च पुलस्त्ये च नमो गोष्ट्याय च गृह्याय च नमस्तल्प्याय च गेह्याय च नमः काट्याय च गह्वरेष्ठाय च नमो हृदय्याय च निवेश्याय च नमः पागुंसव्याय च रजस्याय च नमः शुष्याय च हरित्याय च नमो लोप्याय चोलप्याय च नमः ऊर्म्याय च सूर्म्याय च नमः पर्ण्याय च पर्णशद्याय च नमोपगुणमानाय चाभिघ्नते च नमः आखिदते च प्रक्षिदते च नमो वक्किरिकेभ्यो देवानागुमृतेभ्यो नमो विक्षीणकेभ्यो नमो विचिन्वत्केभ्यो नम आनिर्हतेभ्यो नम आमीवत्केभ्यः ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ गन्धद्वारां दुरादर्शां नित्यपुष्टां करीषिणीम् ईश्वरीगुं सर्वभूतानां दामिहोपह्वयश्रियम् गन्धान् धारयामि ॐ धूरसिधूर्वधूर्वन्तं धूर्वतञ्योऽस्मान् धूर्वदिदं धूर्वयं वयं धूर्वामः ॐ हां हुं शिवाय नमः श्रीनित्यानन्देश्वरी पराशक्ति समेत श्रीनित्यानन्देश्वर परमशिवाय नमः धूपमाघ्रापयामि ॐ उद्धीप्यस्वजातवेदोपज्ञं निरृतं मम पशुगुष्यमख्यमावह जीवनं च दिशो दश बाणो ह्युं शीर्जातवेदो कामस्वं पुरुषं जगत् अभिद्रदग्नागहि श्रियामा परिपातय दीपं दर्शयामि ॐ अमृते अमृतोद्भवे अमृतवर्षिणि अमृतं श्रावय श्रावय स्वाहा अमृतं महानैवेद्यं निवेदयामि ॐ महेशाय विद्महे वाग्विशुद्धाय धीमहि तन्नः शिवः प्रचोदयात् मङ्गलनीराजनं सन्दर्शयामि रक्षां धारयामि
नित्यानन्दं एव तस्य ददाति मुक्तिमयत्न च पूर्णमायुररोगिताम् अखिलार्थसम्पदमादरात् नित्यानन्दं एव तस्य ददाति मुक्तिमयत्न च नित्यानन्दम् ईश्वरम् सर्वपापविनाशनम् 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 नित्यानन्दम् ईश्वरम् Nithyanandeshwara here. Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva grants any wish you have when you're having the darshan again in a few more moments. Have the intention for all the healing selves and protect our family. Swamiji's protective and preventive quarantine is something that should be taken serious by all, not specifically just even Hindus, but everyone in the world needs to understand to truly protect themselves from the preventive and protective quarantines, just as Manu created an ark, a vessel which is protected, that created the essence of civilization. The same way Swamiji is creating Adi Kailasa and other kshetras, Kailasas around the world, as arks that will protect and prevent corona from spreading. Apart from that, when we have the intention for healing to happen, we'll heal from all the stress and mental uncertainty that we experience from the ongoing negativity that is created by the coronavirus. And finally, the seeking of the spiritual soul that is looking for answers about why all these are happening, why death is happening, and why we are facing all these things. The seeking will also be eased as the Aghora Tandava of Paramashiva is going on. It is Nithyanandeshwara in our very temple who is holding in his hands the Tanka and the Mrigamudras, through which he does the Samharakara, the rejuvenation, cleaning out and healing the world. The Mrigamudra specifically is the space of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Mriga is the prancing deer that moves about and does not stay in one place. Paramashiva catches it and holds it still in his hand, giving us the experience of the stillness in the mind, of the space of unclutching, this process of being able to see and witness our inner space as a witness, as our true step back from the mind, to be conscious and aware of the mind and of everything around us. That is the space of unclutching. With the Mrigamudra, Paramashiva shows us this very unclutching, and with the Tankam, he performs the act of Samhara, clearing out the old, rejuvenation in all levels, from the deepest of our souls all the way out till cleansing out. So we minimalize also what we live with, so that we live with bare minimum and survive. Luxuries and things of the yesteryear is something that we don't need to have focus on at this time. As Swamiji himself said, the biggest wealth of this year is just to stay alive. Just to stay alive is the biggest wealth you can have, the biggest profit you can have this year of 2021. It is a very serious message. It's something that everyone needs to take part. And also, we should do the great effort of sharing this same news with everyone around us, to be cautious, to be safe, and not venture by hearsay. Just stay put is Swamiji's message for this year, and be safe and fortify yourself in the preventive and protective quarantines that is provided here in Adi Kailasa. Already, people have started coming and cherished the existence of themselves in Adi Kailasa and are celebrating that they are here, and more are on their way to Adi Kailasa so that we can live a safe and protected life from Corona. Witnessing the Rudrabhishekam gives us a tremendous healing. In the same way, let us get ready for the next darshan of Nithyananda Paramashiva, where we will be offering various upacharas at his divine lotus feet. Upacharas are offering of the best kind. Healing mantras from the Vedas, healing mantras from the Agamas are chanted for world peace and world settlement, and so that everyone can experience Shanti. The Swasti mantra is also chanted, giving the world possibility of peace. We chant Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim maheshaha gobrahmanebhyah subham bhavatu loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Let all the cows and all of nature and all the brahmanas, the ones whose knowledge is there to protect the world, to save the world, let all of them be blessed. Let all the people be blessed. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Let everyone around the world be blessed and be safe from pralaya negativities. So as we prepare ourselves to offer the various upacharas at Nithyanandeshwara's feet, get ready and join us and stay tuned for a few more moments as Nithyanandeshwara gets ready for a darshan. Nithyanandam.
निधिमक्षयं हरिदम्बरं सर्वभूतपतिं परात्परमप्रमेयमनोत्तमम् सोमवारितभूहुतासन सोमपानिलकाकृतिं सोमवारितभूहुतासन सोमपानिलकाकृतिं नित्यानन्दम् आश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै यम नित्यानन्दम् आश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै यम नित्यानन्दम् ईश्वरं सर्वपापविनाशदम् नित्यानन्दम् ईश्वरं सर्वपापविनाशदम् विश्वसृष्टिविधायिनं पुनरेव पालनतत्परं संहरन्तमपि प्रपञ्चमशेषलोकनिवासिनं विश्वसृष्टिविधायिनं पुनरेव पालनतत्परं संहरन्तमपि प्रपञ्चमशेषलोकनिवासिनम् क्रीडयन्तमहर्निशं गणनाथयूथसमन्वितं क्रीडयन्तमहर्निशं गणनाथयूथसमन्वितं नित्यानन्दम् आश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै यम नित्यानन्दम् आश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै यम नित्यानन्दम् ईश्वरं सर्वपापविनाशदम् नित्यानन्दम् ईश्वरं सर्वपापविनाशदम् मृत्युभीतमृकण्डसूनुकृतस्तवं शिवसन्निधौ यत्र कुत्र च यः पठेन हि तस्य मृत्युभयं भवेत् मृत्युभीतमृकण्डसूनुकृतस्तवं शिवसन्निधौ यत्र कुत्र च यः पठेन हि तस्य मृत्युभयं भवेत् पूर्णमायुररोगिता मखिलार्थसम्पदमाधरात् नित्यानन्दम् एव तस्य ददाति मुक्तिमयत्नच पूर्णमायुररोगिताम् अखिलार्थसम्पदमाधरात् नित्यानन्दम् एव तस्य ददाति मुक्तिमयत्नच नित्यानन्दम् ईश्वरं सर्वपापविनाशदम् 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 नित्यानन्दम् ईश्वरं
सर्वमिदं विभाति मङ्गलनीराजनं सन्दर्शयामि रक्षान् धारयामि सस्पते दरिद्रन्नीललोहिता येषाम् पुरुषाणामेषाम् पशूनाम् माभेर्मा रोमो येषाम् किञ्चनामपदे याते रुद्रशिवा तनुः शिवा विश्वाह भेषजी शिवा रुद्रस्य भेषजी तया नो मृडजीवसे इमागुम् रुद्राय तवसे कपर्दिने क्षयद्वीराय प्रभरामहे मतिम् यथा नः श्रमसद्विपदे चतुष्पदे विश्वम् पुष्टम् ग्रामे अस्मिन्ननातुरम् मृडानो रुद्रोतनो मयस्कृधि क्षयद्वीराय सुम्नमस्मेते अस्तु रक्षा च नो अधि च देव ब्रोह्यथा च नः शर्म यच्छद्विबर्हाः स्तुहि श्रुतम् कर्त सदयुवानम् मृगन्न भीममुपहत्नुमुग्रम् मृडाचरित्रे रुद्रस्तवानो अन्यन्ते अस्मन्निवपन्तु सेनाः परिणो रुद्रस्य हेतिर्वृणक्तो परित्वेषस्य दुर्मतिरघायोः अवस्थिरा मघवद्भ्यस्तनुष्वमीढ्वस्तोकायतनयाय मृडया मीढुष्टमशिवतमशिवो नः सुमना भव परमे वृक्ष आयुधन्निधाय कृत्तिम् वसान आचर पिनाकम् बिभ्रदागहि विकिरिदविलोहित नमस्ते अस्तु भगवः यास्ते सहस्रकुम्हेतयोऽन्यमस्मन्निवपन्तु ताः सहस्राणि सहस्रधा बाहुवोस्तव हेतयः तासामीशानो भगवः पराचीनामुखाकृधि सहस्राणि सहस्रशो ये रुद्रा अधिभूम्याम् तेषाकुं सहस्रयोजने वधन्वानि तन्मसि अस्मिन्महत्यर्णवेऽन्तरिक्षे भवा अधि नीलग्रीवाशितिकण्ठा शर्वा अधः क्षमाचराः नीलग्रीवाशितिकण्ठादिवगुं रुद्रा उपश्रिताः ये वृक्षेषु सस्पिञ्जरा नीलग्रीवा विलोहिताः ये भूतानामधिपतयो विशिखासक्कपर्दिनः ये अन्येषु विविध्यन्ति पात्रेषु पिबतो जनाने ये पथां पतिरक्षय ऐलवृधाय व्युधः ये तीर्थानि प्रचरन्ति सृकावन्तो निषङ्गिणः य एतावन्तश्च भूयागुंसश्च दिशो रुद्रावितस्थिरे तेषागुं सहस्रयोजने वधन्वानि तन्मसि नमो रुद्रेभ्यो ये पृथिव्यां येऽन्तरिक्षे ये दिवि येषामन्नं वातो वर्षमिषवस्तेभ्यो दश प्राचीर्दश दक्षिणा दश प्रतीचेदशोदीचे दशोर्ध्वास्तेभ्यो नमस्ते नो मृडयन्तु ते यं द्विष्मो यश्च नो द्वेष्टितं वोचं भेदधामि त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनां मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृता आते यो रुद्रो अग्नौ यो अप्सु य औषधीषु यो रुद्रो विश्वा भुवना विवेश तस्मै रुद्राय नमो अस्तु तमुष्टु हि यस्विषुः सुधन्वायो विश्वस्य क्षयति भेषजस्य यक्ष्वा आवहेसौ मनसाय रुद्रं नमोभिर्देव